Hello YouTube, it's me Ish. Wanted to talk about friendships, and more importantly, my hypocrisy with them. Looking at the definition right now on Google, and it says practicing of claiming to have moral standards or beliefs to which one's own behavior does not conform. Pretense. For me, I believe friendship is a very big thing. I have a lot of friends who I've gone through a lot with, who I've done a lot with, who I've done a lot to, who have helped me with a lot. Help me get through life, help me understand what I value the most, and help me understand what I should be valuing. And because of that, I have undeniably some of the greatest friends I think and hope I'll ever have to my future years to come and of now. Unfortunately, I'm very weird with people. I believe myself to be somebody who's more extroverted than introverted, meaning that I like to hang out with people as much as possible. People give me energy. At the same time, I don't like being around people for too long. I think it's like this weird in-between that people find themselves in, especially me, but I always find myself victimizing myself, I guess. I guess it started for me with just some stuff that happened when I was a younger kid in middle school. But because of stuff that happened, I always felt like I was never as close as I could be with everybody else in relation to how they were with each other. I always felt like the lesser bro among my bros, if that makes any sense. But because of that, that feeling kind of stuck with me no matter who I talked to. Among my friends individually, I always felt like we were two peas in a pod. We were as close as two bros can be. Yeah, you probably need to be closer than how we are, but we're just bros. But needless to say, individually, I always felt really close with them. But when it came to just group settings and just chilling, especially since all my friends came and we chill a lot on Discord, I just never felt that close in the group, in the circle. So a lot of the times I'd find myself always questioning and always trying to listen in and analyze and then overanalyze things that they'd either say towards me, say as a joke amongst each other, amongst everyone when we're all there, but just taking note of anything that may make it seem like they had any sort of ill will towards me, they were mad about something towards me, and it just overall made me always analyze and question our friendship. Because for me, the people that I hold close because they've done so much for me. But I can't say the same for me doing something for them. I don't know if my friendship for them means as much as their friendship does for me. And I used to be, or still is, a very scary thing. I'm very scared that I could get dropped by my friends at any given point in time. Very scared that one day they'll just get sick of my antics. And very recently, among some of my very close friends, I decided to distance myself because of that. I believe that although they're my closest friends, I should spend some time to really understand, I won't say individuality, but just understand that as much as you need close friends, as much as you need people you can rely on and fall back to, there are going to be a lot of points in your time, in your life, where you have to rely on yourself. And if I'm constantly doubting myself with them and always trying to verify and validate myself based on how they think I am, based off the image they have of me, then how am I A, going to be a good friend when they need me to be? And B, how am I going to be a good person overall, whether that's in a relationship, a friendship, or just needing to be a person for the sake of myself when the time comes? But in this kind of, I don't even know what to call it, this gray period and this period of change, of little change for me, where I tried to isolate myself. I felt not only more isolated in terms of being less of a bro, because now I get big FOMO and I'm fearing all the things I'm missing out on, even right now thinking about it, of all the all the moments I missed out with them, all the jokes they've probably made, all the inside things that I won't know then when I come back to the servers and when we start talking in person after all this COVID shit's over. But it's all very scary for me. And I was really lonely just playing video games. Twitch.tv/ishipoo, 2 Y's, poo with 2 O's, in case you didn't know how to spell poo. But I was extremely lonely. And luckily, one of my bros had invited me to hang out with his friends because he didn't really join our Discord calls as much as the others, very rarely actually, but he was still one of the coolest ones in the group. Not to rank them, but just one of the cooler ones, in my opinion. And him inviting me to play with his friends, his online friends, honestly made me feel a whole lot better. And at the time, there was only 3 of us: him, his online friend, and me. It was really cool because even though I knew I wasn't as close as I was to how those two were with each other, I knew that it was just it was like very mutual awkwardness and distance, so that even though they were closer with each other, they'd attempt together to be close with me. I guess that's how I'd phrase it. But them playing with me made leaving that Discord call a whole lot easier, because he never had to invite me to play with him. I didn't even know that they had the game that I was buying. So him just reaching out and being like, hey man, my friend and I are playing the same game since it just came out. If you want to, we could all play. Really made me feel a whole lot better, especially since I had done something shady in the past to him and we had never really cleared it up or resolved the issue. We just kind of said wishy-washy apologies and how we felt, and we never really closed it and sealed the deal about how we felt about our friendship. And for me, I can never live down the type of disrespect that I put on our friendship. And that's just something that's always going to stick with me. So anytime we hung out, it's just always something in the back of my head where that was something I did to you, and I know for you this friendship won't mean nearly as much as it does for me because of what I did. And I'm sorry for that. I can only ever be sorry for that. But there's nothing I can do to change the way you feel. I can only hope that me being as good of a friend as I can be now will help you in some way, shape, or form to forgive me more so than you already have. But skipping from that, jumping to him helping me just ease my loneliness. Eventually, we play, beat the game kind of. I mean, the game's not finished. Yeah, I mean, it actually really did just come out. But this little trio group of ours kind of ended for a little bit and resumed maybe about 4 or 5 days later, almost a week, when he was like, hey, you want to watch anime with us? And even though I'm big on anime, I haven't really been watching anime or doing much. I just kind of browse through YouTube and play Valorant. But I was down. I said, sure, yeah, I'm game. So we had been watching anime. And, you know, with all this COVID stuff happening, it's really hard to make time to hang out with people. And especially, like, the awkwardness that comes with how should we hang out? Should we do something that's outdoorsy? Should we do something that's like going out to like get dinner or something? How should we respond? When should we be taking off our masks? Stuff like that. Like just like little nuances about how daily social life has changed. For me, at least. I don't know how it is for the rest of the world. I don't really check up on social medias like that. But because of that, these little anime watch-togethers really made it feel like I was going out again. I was hanging out with people. We wouldn't talk very much during the episodes, but after the episodes, we'd kind of just have our cracks about what happened. We talk about the excitement about the other episodes, even though one of the friends had already watched the anime. It was just overall a good time. I really enjoyed and look forward to the late night calls of us just watching anime. Only problem was that I had been trying to, you know, better myself. Oh, I'm going to stick to a sleep schedule. I'm going to do this, A, B, C, and D. And although this impeded on those things almost directly, I couldn't help but miss having this kind of interaction again. Like I said, I feel that I'm more extroverted than introverted, so having this type of just close friendship, even though I had not been really close with both of them, and I'm only really close with one of them, made me feel a lot better. And this is where my hypocrisy comes into play. Though I believe that it takes time to form relationships and friendships, it's just relationships in general of any nature, I always tend to jump the gun. I always tend to want to rush things and try to form illegitimate closeness with people before we can actually form that true closeness. Especially with online relationships of any nature, it's very hard to give a good sense of being close because you can never really hang out with somebody. You never see their natural tendencies on a day-to-day basis, and you never have to see their bad side unless they're willing to show it to you. And because of that, it was hard for me to try to act like a normal mutual friend and then also want to be close and not overrush things. I don't want to overdo my personality, but I also don't want to undersell myself. I don't want to put on some sort of persona, and all these things in my head and all this overthinking just kind of led me to want to stop talking. And I did so. And it wasn't that bad because we'd always take breaks. They had a separate Discord server, and we had one mutual one in common that neither of us really used, but since we both had it, it was easy for us to just go in there, watch anime, talk about it a little bit, have some few giggles, and then leave. So it wasn't like they had to see any of this. But maybe flash forward a couple days, and one of their friends ends up inviting me to their Discord server, the one that they use the most, and a boom bada bing allowed me to be in their little private calls. And for me, hearing that I could be a part of a private call among people that I'm already not close with put the idea of how, or the level of closeness that I had with them much higher than it actually was. And because of that, I understood that we weren't close, but I felt like we were. So I overdid who I was and my natural tendencies to, if I was usually at an 8, I shot that up to 17, just simply because I wanted them to understand who I was as a person. And I wanted to know that if we weren't ever going to be friends, that my natural tendencies would be on full display, so you can either hate me or like me about it. Stuff like that. And it was going good. It was really going good. But me overthinking and overtalking like I usually do led to me just noticing, I wouldn't say inconsistencies, but just things that sounded like they were getting tired of it. And maybe they were, maybe they weren't, but regardless, it led me to just constantly think that in the back of my head. And then anytime I felt like I was a little out of the conversation, wasn't really brought into the conversation, anything of that nature where I just felt left out or isolated, it just made me again feel like I wasn't really a bro amongst bros. And because of that, I isolated myself again. It's a little bit dramatic, but I ended up leaving this Discord as well, just because it's hard for me to feel as close as I want to with people, even though I want to be as close with them. Making this little commentary right now, I want to just be like, hey, can I join the Discord, please? I'm mad lonely. It was really fun talking with you guys, things of that nature, but I know there's no way of ending this type of mentality without first trying to nip it in the bud or try to do something about it, actively trying to change it. I don't know if it's active enough on my part by just simply leaving Discord calls and not talking to them, if that's even a solution of any kind, maybe. But when I had first left my original Discord with my close friends, it allowed me to kind of build a routine, a schedule, waking up early in the morning, attempting to eat some sort of a healthy breakfast, exercising a little bit, actually studying, and focusing on things that are priorities for my future. And it felt good for that point in time, but I was really lonely. And I feel like if I was to start doing that again and just start building up a routine, a schedule, priorities that made me feel better about moving forward in life, that it'd be like 2 steps forward, 3 steps backwards. I'd be making strides in terms of areas that I'd want to in my life, but I wouldn't be making strides in emotional areas that I wanted to. I don't want to move forward in my life without people there around me. And I know that not every point in your life is going to have people there and people supporting you there. Sometimes there's going to be, or not sometimes, but there are definitely going to be points in time where you have to go through life by yourself, even when there are people around you. There are just certain points in time where you have to rely only on yourself. And I want to be able to do so, but at the same time, I feel like I haven't had enough time with the people I truly care about. And to meet more people that I truly care about where I can feel comfortable standing on my own 2 feet, hypothetically speaking, of course, but just stand on my own 2 feet and live my life. I really don't want to keep ranting because this is already turning into 15 minutes of me talking, and I feel like I'm being redundant at this point. So I hope there was something to take out of this. Just, I guess, to recap, I like having friends, but I always want to rush the long-term portions of friendships and just try to cut all that meddling middle work of actually getting to know somebody and pretending like we've already hit the end stages of being best friends and bros. I try to isolate myself so that I can make a solution out of it, but it ends up making me even more lonely. And then my fears and insecurities of not being a bro amongst bros comes out. And I hope maybe you can relate. You can talk some sense into me. Give me some advice if you have struggled with something like this and you've gone out of it. But I hope you enjoyed the video. Again, probably some Valorant gameplay. I stream on Twitch almost every day, especially now since I'm on break and my next semester doesn't start until I think mid-August. But yeah, twitch.tv/ishipoo, 2 Y's, 2 O's in the poo. Like, comment, subscribe, and peace. Thank you.